Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff.
Welcome back to Fandom Family Chats. I'm Amanda.
I'm Eve.
And today we are talking about Station 19 and Grey's Anatomy. Yay. Station 19 was a little crazy. I was very confused at first, but then it all came back on me.
There was a lot going on. There were a couple major things that happened, but then there were a lot of like really small storylines.
Yeah.
They just jam-packed into this episode.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed both episodes this week. Last week I just wasn't really enthralled into it, but this week they got me back. I'm good. And next week I am super excited, even though it is the finale and I'm kind of upset about that. I think it's going to be really good.
It's going to be real good. I'm excited.
We'll talk about that later, but I'm excited. They got me back excited this week. Thank you. Meg. That's her name.
Good job, Meg.
Good job, Meg. Is she still doing it or is Krista still doing it for the rest of the season? Do we know?
I don't remember. I
don't know if she's taken over yet.
Oh, it says Meg Marine is set to take over as the new showrunner. So maybe that's going to be...
I think it's going to be next season. So
yeah.
I think we still have Krista this season. But I think Meg's has been there for a very, very long time in the group. I keep trying to say committee. It's not committee.
By committee. It kind of is a committee, I guess, if depending on how you look at it. I think she's been part of the writing team for several years. So she's not like someone brand new coming in. She's been a part of the show for a long time,
which I'm happy about. And I know Krista was the same way. Krista has been there almost since the beginning. And when she took over, it was kind of almost seamlessly. You can't really tell too much.
I really, for the longest time, I didn't realize that Shonda wasn't even involved on the day-to-day anymore. So, I guess that kind of says something.
Yeah, but look at all the good shows that Shonda's giving us.
Yeah, she's busy.
She's rocking it. Give us more. I'm good. First of all, we got to see a little bit of a cameo of Kitty and Dick, she came to cast her ballot, but he already mailed his in. I think he just wanted to come and, like he said, see how everything's going or
make sure everything is being
like fairly done, whatever.
Dude.
Oh my gosh.
And then Kitty recognized Ben as someone she went to high school with. I was like, I love this woman.
I laughed out loud. I was like, oh my God, I would be like so offended. How rude.
And Ben is just standing there like, yeah, okay, sure.
Okay. That was hilarious. And I'm glad that we got a little bit of comedy from Kitty, because honestly, she makes me laugh, I think, every time. Now, her husband, I don't like too much. Dick, don't like him. Kitty I love.
Yeah, she can stay. I like her.
Not that I love her. She just cracks me up every time that we see her.
She makes for a good scene.
She really does. And also who makes for a good scene this week was Eli. I didn't really know if we would get any more Eli time.
Yeah, I was afraid he was just like gone.
Yeah, which I was a little upset about, but at the same time I was like, well, he was like, I feel bad for Andy too. Even though I think she already kind of was like me. I think she got over Eli pretty quickly.
She doesn't seem heartbroken about it. It's not like they were deep into a relationship. They were barely even dating, really. Like they barely they went on one botched first date.
Yeah, that's it.
And that was it.
And to me, he does have so much more chemistry with Travis. I actually do like them together.
Yeah, I hope that sticks because they're both very cute looking guys. They make a very cute couple.
Are. When they kissed at the end of this episode, I was like, "Ee!"
Yeah, I was really excited. I was like, yay.
And I honestly, before this week, I would have been like, no, he needs to stay away from Eli. But something about just seeing them two together on the screen and their chemistry, I'm just like, yes, I do like this. Never mind. I'm here for it.
So yeah, hopefully he's here to stay because I really love them.
Mm-hmm. I did too. Did you think that Robel was gonna win? I was scared he really wasn't.
I had no idea which way it was. Like, I had no theories on which way it could go. But I was hoping Robel would win. Is that his name, Robel?
Robel, that's how I say it.
That's what I wrote in the outline. So hopefully, of course, I was hoping he would win because it would have really sucked if they had this whole storyline devoted to this election only for
Dick to win.
Yeah. So I feel like that would have been a pretty stupid storyline if Dick ended up winning in the first place, but he didn't. The good guy won.
Yeah, I would not have been very happy.
No, I would have to write a letter to not Meg, but Krista.
I'm writing one to Krista and Meg and Shonda just to get my point across.
I'm not sure which one of you's in charge right now, so I'm sending it to all of you. I just want you to know how upset I am.
Well, I'm sure they would take our opinions to heart.
Yes, because they always do.
And so in the middle of all this, this really confused me too, is when the teens like ran in and needed help. I could not figure out what happened for a good like 5 minutes I was like, wait, what is going on? Who lost a tooth? What?
Yeah, there was a lot going on, and then we had our favorite couple there helping.
Yes.
I love how they just pop up.
I do too. And I go, wait, I know them. Oh, hey. And it's like all brings it back.
And they're helpful.
Mm-hmm.
They mean well. They are good, kind people.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times the help they're giving is just not always very helpful. And I love how they just came in at the very end. They're like, we found it. We found the tooth. Like, oh, wait, is that what they left for? Because they're like, okay, we'll go help. And then they didn't come back.
Until
wait,
they were looking.
I was like, wait, what are they look like? I thought they went to go get supplies or something. I thought that's why they went off. I was like, oh, they're looking for the tooth. Okay.
Which, by the way, did you know that you can just, if you didn't touch the root, you can just stick it back in? Because I didn't know that.
I had no idea. All I knew is that in order to clean a tooth, you need to use milk and not water because something to do with calcium. I knew that part. I didn't know you could just stick it in. That doesn't sound factual.
I was like, just stick it back in. I was like, ooh.
Like, no.
No, thank you.
Like, no, thanks. I'll take the crown.
Just put a veneer in or something.
Just put a veneer in. I'm good. That tooth's a goner.
It's been on the street.
It's been on the street, and you know I'm good. This will be my new look. It'll be great.
Oh my gosh, that was that was a funny storyline.
I was a little lost though when they said that they were running to the station to vote, like cast their vote, because they looked really young. Granted, if they're 18,
they can vote.
Yeah, granted, if they're 18, I mean, when I was 18, I did not look 18, so I'm one to talk. But I was a little I think that's why I was so confused. Like, they came in and like they were racing. I was like, why does it matter? But then we found out they were racing to vote. So,
which is really cute.
I love that. If you are turning 18 so soon, race to vote.
Race to vote. Go vote.
Think about it. Don't lose any teeth.
Be careful. Yes. Don't ride a scooter.
They cause nothing but trouble.
Those scare me. The other big thing that kind of happened during Station 19 was Jack with his little reunion with Marcia and then meets up with Brooke.
I love Marcia. I'm always so happy to see her.
I am too. I am enjoying seeing more of Brooke too, as well as Marcia. Well, anytime with Marcia, but I liked seeing his relationship with Brooke forming and growing.
And it's growing into something that's a lot more genuine and less her just trying to be like, let's hang out, let's do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
A lot more brother sister, which I know is thanks to them saying, let's backtrack and kind of just start over.
Mm-hmm.
Because the both of them really need a sibling. I mean, that's
they just need somebody they can trust and have somebody who has their back. Because I feel like I think grew up a little bit more differently than he did, of course. But even, I mean, I did tear up when the whole like flashback when she brought Lila in.
oh my gosh, as soon as she came onto the screen, I was like, oh my god, it's his foster sister.
And I was so they started doing sign language. Everything was so sweet and reminiscent and just it was very well done. I liked seeing the flashback, and because I don't know if I would have really put the two together too as quickly.
Well, as soon as he started signing with her, that was a clear
indication
in my pun. But I mean, that.
But that hasn't seen the earlier seasons.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because that was a big storyline earlier on.
I went back and kind of researched their backstory.
Yeah, as soon as he started signing, I knew exactly who that was because that's the only person that made sense based on the storyline. But I did love that they went back and did all those like flashback scenes from that episode of his. It was very beautifully done.
It was sweet, and I hope we get to see a lot more of them and their relationship kind of rekindling.
Because I mean, that's his family. That's the family he's been looking for years. So
yeah, and poor Jack, he needs family. He's never had that security of family. It's like Peyton; they always leave.
People always leave, but it's okay. They come back. You know who was not fun to watch this week was Ben. He's still so down on himself.
I know.
This fire, which I get. You're allowed to be down on yourself when
I mean, he lost somebody, and that's
when you lose somebody, yeah, definitely. But he's winning. I like how he's winning a Medal of Valor. Is that what?
I think so.
That's what they call it on One Chicago. So that's kind of what.
That's the only way I know about it is because of Chicago.
But he's getting this Medal of Valor, and everyone's congratulating him, and he's like. And I think he's talking to Karine. He said, "You save lives every day. My wife saves lives every day. I saved one life. Like, I haven't saved any lives that I'm aware of. So I think one life sounds pretty good."
I do too. And I mean, he's obviously saved more than that. He used to be a doctor. And he's I think just losing that one. And I actually do understand where he's coming from because he's like, I lost one. I saved one, yes, but I did lose one. But I feel like they save people all the time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of their job. So why is he now getting an award for this when I understand why he's getting an award? That's not the right way to word that. I understand why he's getting the award. And I love Ben. So if he gets all the awards, I'm here for it. But
it's just why this particular rescue? Like, why is this particular rescue worthy of an award when the other rescues weren't?
Yeah. Like that's because it's not like they got everybody out safe. He lost life. So I understand where he's coming from. And then we have the guy with the Black Widow spider bite who came back after his trip to Italy. When I say I laughed out loud, hysterically, that I had to pause the show when he pulled out a freaking magnet. You saved my life. I brought you a magnet. I mean, the gesture was really sweet. like I wouldn't even bring my like best friend a magnet bag. It's just it's so impersonal. The magnet of the Leaning Tower of Pisa for in exchange of saving my life.
Thanks for saving my life. Here's a magnet.
I just feel like they could have done better on the gift. Like, come on, Shondaland. That part freaking killed me. But it also put into context that Ben, and that's the thing, you saved more than one life. You save lives all the time, which is exactly kind of the point that they were trying to make to him is why this particular one he's getting a medal for, I don't know. But he's got to realize that he should just take the wins when he can get the wins and accept the award and take it in pride. You know, I hate that he's so hard on himself sometimes, but
he's hard on himself all the time.
I know. Ben is one of the characters as always. I love Ben. I don't ever really want to say anything bad about Ben, but has never been like also one of my favorites either.
Which is funny because he's essentially the bridge that created that created this particular spinoff.
Mm-hmm.
He's never really been one of my favorites. Like I immediately started loving a lot of other people before him, even though he was the character I knew going into the show.
Honestly, the one thing that just bugs me about Ben is his career path.
What path?
And I know
he doesn't have a path.
That's what drives me insane. I'm like, you're a freaking grown man. Do you know how much money you have spent on schooling? That's all I can think of is how much. Anesthesiologist.
Yeah, that word. To surgeon, that makes sense. It's still within, the
medical field.
That makes sense, but he's like, okay, I think now I want to be a firefighter. It's like,
are you a child? Even though he's a great firefighter, I can't really.
From a writing standpoint, like I get that they were trying to, like, they wanted to do the spinoff, and like that was the way to do it. But
Ben.
Did you really need Ben though? I mean, they easily could have just had like that backdoor pilot where we meet Andy and like everybody else, and then that could have been it. Like we didn't need Ben to become a firefighter in order to have this.
No, we really didn't. And I think I would love Ben a lot more if he actually stayed a surgeon, and then we got to see a lot more of Bailey and Ben like team working it in surgery and kind of having that hospital.
He obviously loves being a surgeon because he uses that every
time,
and he kind of,
and he's like, I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor.
I'm a doctor. I can. It's like, no,
you're not.
You decided you didn't want to be a doctor. You didn't even finish your schooling to become a doctor.
Oh, that drives me insane. Well, he did. He was an anesthesiologist when we met him, so he's technically is a doctor. He's just not he didn't finish doing his surgery residency. Yeah. Residency? Yeah.
Because he was a resident when he left, right?
I think he had like a year or two left of his residency.
That would have made me crazy. I'm like, dude, do you want to just, look, you've got 2 years left. Do you want to just like finish it up and then spin the wheel of careers and
ding, 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 ding. What do I want to do? I don't know. It's always, it obviously gives us good TV, and I guess we really can't complain too much. But that's just the one thing that's always bothered me about Ben. Other than that, I love the guy. I do, and I think he did. I think he honestly really did deserve this medal. So one of our other big storylines this week was Vic and Beckett.
I really enjoyed this.
I loved this.
It was so good.
It has, I mean, the amount of crap we have talked about Beckett and Maya. I was so proud of both of them this week, both of them. But we'll talk about Beckett first. Beckett is really, I've actually started really liking him, and I really hope that he can get better. I don't even know if he's going to come back to the show. I don't know if he'll be a firefighter. But I loved how they took his storyline and that didn't just kind of like end it at him going to rehab or leaving, like we really get to see a lot more and his past struggles, because that was one of our big complaints about Beckett, is we didn't really know anything too personal about him. So we couldn't relate, we couldn't connect.
But I guess with this episode now we know why. He was shoving a lot of stuff down.
And it explains so much. And if we knew all this stuff before, we could understand him better and have a better understanding of why he is the way that he is and the way he acts. So I guess the way all of this, the storyline of Beckett and Vic started was Vic went over there for a check-in, I guess. I think she just made this up as she was going. She knew something was wrong. He was like, we mentioned last week on the podcast, he's given stuff away. Those are all kind of signs that somebody is thinking about taking their own life. So he was showing the signs.
Yeah, that's pretty much textbook signs. It's giving things away, making amends.
Mm-hmm. I mean, bravo to Vic, who really saw that and didn't ignore it, even though Beckett hasn't always been the nicest of person to her or any of her friends. She just has such a good heart that she's like, I'm going to go check in on him.
That's what I love about Vic. She looks out for absolutely everyone, even people who seemingly, and I'm saying seemingly, people who seemingly don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves whatever help she has to offer. And I think that's why she's quickly moving up to be one of my favorites.
I can almost agree with you now. Like, Vic's always kind of the same as I was saying with Ben. Like, she's never been like one of my favorites, but I've always enjoyed her. I've never like disliked her.
I feel like she's always kind of set in the background for a long time, but I loved her after this episode. I love Beckett after this episode.
I know. And it was, I'm all here for it.
Whoever was responsible for this episode, good job.
Yes, honestly, it was so perfectly done. Because she gets there and he's cleaning out the garage, his trophies, the only thing his ex-wife like let him have. Like, he's given all this stuff away that is very personable to him. And when you can even see when she's pulling things out and he's looking at it, you see pain in his face, you see, admiration of the good times. I think he's thinking about all of that stuff while he's pulling all this stuff out. He's thinking about the good times, the bad times, which I think needed to happen.
But I guess another big part too was Vic was trying to get out of him. It's like, yo, why did you leave rehab? I think she was trying to ask him, not necessarily how rehab was, but I guess just, how'd it go? Like, did you get any clarity? But then I guess that's where we find out that he kind of just ducked out early because they were all sharing their worst mistakes and he couldn't listen to it anymore. But
yep.
I mean, from what I understand, that's a big part of getting sober is
healing.
Yeah, of healing is, this is the worst mistake I've ever made, just laying it all out there. These are the mistakes I've made when I was not sober, and then accepting it and being able to move on from that. And he was not letting himself do that, which for the longest time, not just during rehab, but for a long time, he wasn't allowing himself to heal from these mistakes that he's made. And that's a lot of the reason why we haven't been able to decide if we like him or not. But
yeah, but I gotta say, I like Beckett now. I'm here. I hope he comes back.
I really do hope he comes back, because I have a feeling that Beckett at his best is going to be a really good asset to the whole station based on what we saw last week.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think he's an amazing firefighter. Like, and he could be a really good leader. Like you said, if he can overcome the hardships that he has had to go through and really heal, I don't think he needs to be back within 6 months. I think he needs at least 6 months away
At
from,
very, very least.
yeah, like I was going to say year, but I don't know how plausible that is. At least 6 months he needs to be away and healing, not only from the alcohol, but from the trauma that he's had to endure. That story that he told about the mom who tried to kill herself, but put the sheet under the door to save her kids, but it didn't work. Like, I couldn't imagine like going into a house and not only finding a mom, but also kids. I know it happens to first responders every day, and that's, you know what, they're better than me. That's why I'm not a first responder, because I don't know if I could handle it. So
I don't know, that would break me on day one. Day one, I'd be like, nope, I am all the way out. Granted, I don't know if I would make it through training. So there we go.
no. I have to run. How much? What? Where?
See, I've seen the training and the and all of the drills they do on all of our first responder shows, and they don't look like any fun.
That doesn't look fun to me. I don't think I want to do that. I mean, but
he's after children all day. I mean,
oh my gosh, yeah, that's easier.
I would agree.
It's harder, and it's just as hard in a different way.
It's just as hard, but I really don't feel like it's going to kill me.
Yeah, I don't think it's as physically draining, maybe mentally, but not physically.
In any case, firefighting's not in the cards for me.
Me either. But you know what? I admire them, and they are better people than me, I guess.
I wonder if fire stations, if it is a typical thing for fire stations to have people like Diane who are regularly checking in on them and chatting with them, because that seems like a job where you really are, going to need a lot of mental health check-ins. So
absolutely.
I hope that's a real thing, because we need our firefighters to,
I think they should be required to go through therapy regularly. Even, I mean, the things that they have to see, they need therapy continuously, in my own opinion.
At least check-ins every, so many after,
Yeah,
after so many weeks or whatever.
I say at least once a month you need to check in if you're doing that kind of job, really, in the bigger cities. Like, if you're in a small town, you're not going to be you still see about stuff, don't get me wrong, but not as often and not as violent, probably, I'm sure, in most cases, than you do like in big cities, as in Chicago or Seattle or New York or Dallas. Those cities have a lot more of a higher crime rate, violence, etc., etc. So I hope that all of our first responders are getting the help that they need. And thank you for your service, I guess.
So
no.
They kind of left Beckett off with, it was pretty wide open how they left the storyline off, because he admitted, yeah, I'm not okay. And yeah, I need help and I'm going to get it. But it didn't exactly end with Vic, like, I don't know, dropping him off at rehab or
he was waiting for his his what do they call him, his
counselor, addiction counts.
No, it was his union rep.
Oh yeah,
he was waiting for his union rep, but she didn't want to leave him until union rep got there.
Yeah, so hopefully we get to, I don't know, some kind of,
at least a report. Can I get a report back? Is he doing okay? It was nice. I really enjoyed that entire thing. Them playing basketball together, I think that really opened him up, to get him just not so concentrated on looking at her and just having a conversation. He can have a conversation of more in a relaxed way.
We're like just hanging out, unless her.
Yeah, it's more like talking to a friend than it is a therapist, almost, even though Vic's not a therapist, and she's more of a, I guess, friend now. I wouldn't really call them friends before, but I think I could call them friends now.
Yeah.
The way they hugged each other, I'm like, I want that friendship to continue.
Yeah.
I hope it does. But also, what I do not want to continue is Theo being captain. Can we talk about this captaincy, that thing that's going on right now that is a freaking nightmare? And I don't know what Ross was thinking.
Okay, you know what? At this point, not only do I not want Theo to be captain anymore, but I also don't even care if he stays on the show anymore. Like, he could ride off into the sunset and be gone forever, and I would not miss him at this point.
No, he's the Beckett left, Theo's. Do we like any captain?
Maybe we're just not supposed to ever like whoever the captain is, because we didn't like Molly when she was captain either. we like Pruitt. We love Pruitt when he was captain.
I see. I haven't seen him.
Well, that's why I'm telling you. When Pruitt was captain, we loved him.
I have seen like half of season 1. I did start.
At least I loved him. Pruitt was a great captain. He was kind of like the
dad
of, captains as far as that show goes.
He reminds me more of like how Bowden from Chicago is with his team. Yeah.
But
the dad version of him.
Back to this. I don't know what else to call it except a captain pissing contest, because that's pretty much what it was.
Exactly what it was.
And I don't like that Ross did this.
No, it just created a freaking mess. And I mean, I want to know her vision of like what did she think was going to happen?
It would have made more sense for her to be like, nobody say anything right now, but I'm looking for a new captain. If you want to put your name, in the ring, like it would have made more sense if they went to her privately or somehow got word to her privately, not
or she had like one-on-one meetings with each one.
Yeah, exactly. And not, okay, step forward, because now you're just creating you're just creating a bunch of little monsters.
War?
And it was
not swords or something. I don't know at this point.
Poor Maya got the brunt of it in that car wash.
I laughed so
bad. Like all of a sudden, I looked back and then I saw her spinning around. I was like, what happened? So I had to go back and rewatch. And I'm like, I feel really bad that that's still funny.
Oh, it was hilarious. Now that I know she was okay, it was really hilarious.
It was okay. If I had any sense that she was not going to come out okay, then I would not have found it as funny. But
no, she wasn't going like too fast. That's why it was funny. If now she was like where we couldn't even like see her, then that would have been, I would have been like, oh no.
That did look really painful though. She was really by her. I'm like, oh god.
She came out of there looking like she went to the ring.
she did. Literally, quite literally, I would say so.
Quite literally. Also, Sullivan pushing freaking Andy to not listen to Theo.
Well, here's the thing. Sullivan is not a stupid man.
No.
And I'm sure that this was his thinking, and you can correct me if you can jump in and disagree if you want, but he was of the mindset where, I want to completely screw over Theo and undermine him, and I also want to knock Andy out of the running, so this is what we're gonna do.
I was like, would you stop telling her to not listen to her captain?
At the same time, I was thinking, Andy, don't listen to him.
Gotta be smarter than that, girl.
You know
what he's doing.
Use your own brain, friend. Think for yourself.
That poor woman, too. My gosh, could you imagine being stuck in a freaking car wash with your husband thinking he's cheating? He wasn't cheating on her. Like, later we found out he was just lost his job. But holy moly, who goes through a car wash when you're fighting for your marriage, first of all? Didn't he say like they were driving and he kind of explained why they were there?
I don't remember how they explained why they were there, but I
went in there to talk or something so she couldn't like escape.
I don't know. A car wash seems like a pretty strange
talking place.
I don't know, it seems like a pretty strange choice as far as, places to, talk to your wife about, hey, I know that you think I'm cheating, but I'm not.
I just lost my job, so let's go waste some money at this car wash. Probably get some good money now. I'd be like, you guys are paying for all my medical,
Well, there you go. Maybe that's what he was thinking.
all my divorce. Your car wash caused my divorce.
I want money for pain and suffering. I want my hospital bills. I want my wife's hospital bills, and I want it all.
Oh no. And
It
that
can be like
freaking employee. What?
he seemed, and I get that he wasn't like in charge or anything. He's just an employee, but he just seems so useless.
Was it his first date? I mean,
that's the impression that I got, that it was like his first day or something. But I'm also thinking, I was also thinking, it's like, is he the only one there? Like, is there not some kind of manager or someone else who's there in charge who?
I don't think so. I think it was just this one
This one
idiot
little-
kid that had no idea what he was doing. I mean, at least like through training, you'd be like, hey, in case of emergency, since this is a big machine, here's the basics. You think that a car wash owner would give him at least the basics of,
Or at least, hey, if an emergency ever happens, here's our play, like our book of
yeah, our plan, or like a plan book, whatever it's called. Like the plans.
I would have expected him to like run and be like, here's our manual, and like toss it at them. They at least would have been able to figure out what to do with that.
Yeah.
I was like, who leaves this poor little stupid new guy alone at a car wash?
Oh my gosh, he better not have a job there after that day. But then you have like the second power source. I guess it was a generator, a backup power source that went off. That's the one that destroyed Maya. But like, how do you not, like, working at an establishment, how do you not know these things? It just blew my mind.
I feel like you should know these things before you're allowed to even go near.
Yeah. Like, it's just the car wash is not like a little building or something. It is a huge machine. And if you're going to be working with machinery,
it's not like sitting in front of a cash register and reading at a grocery store or whatever. It's
I mean, I guess if nothing ever went wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a big machine that cars go through. Like, you have to.
Yeah, there's huge liabilities for it.
So if you own a car wash, do not leave your, new guy there all by himself.
No, I don't know. This whole thing could have been avoided if we didn't have the kid working.
Poor little Joe Schmo working the car wash.
But I think it did help. I mean, we have Sullivan and Andy who kind of cleared the air, I think, through that experience that they kind of had to go through. And it really just put into play that I don't think they're going to be listening to Theo much anymore.
And
it was really disrespectful. In my opinion, this is probably the only time that I will ever say this. I was a little bit on Theo's side on this, because Maya would not have gotten hurt if they would have saved him, or if they would have just waited. But on the other hand, that lady, I think, would have been a lot worse off if they would have waited. She had a head injury, which is very time sensitive. But also, like, this is actually an actual question. Does the captain like have to like stand there and do nothing?
That's what I'm wondering too, because I don't know if it's a Theo thing, because he always seems to just like give an order and stand around like this.
And like, I'm like, shouldn't you be like looking, if the kid has no freaking idea? He like sent one person to go figure out all this, like Jack. Like, there should have been, I don't know.
I'm thinking of our other shows like 911. Bobby always jumps right on in, and
if they need it. And right now I feel like they needed it on this one. Really, if Maya's spinning around like crazy, Jack can't find the power source, Andy and Sullivan are trying to get this couple out. She's got a head wound, and Theo's just standing outside with his hands on his hip, pacing around. I'm like, what are you doing? He's just mad that they're not listening to him.
I mean, if anything, shouldn't he have gone into the car wash? Like, did he even go into the car wash to be able to make any calls? Like, how can you make any calls for or against rescuing someone if you haven't even seen what's going on with your own eyes?
I know. He could have gone inside to look for a manual or a pamphlet, because I'm sure this kid had no brain cells. Or, I mean, he obviously found it eventually, but I feel like if Theo would have gone in and started going through their stuff, and he would have found that a lot faster than that teenager would have found it. So I'm just saying, if Theo gets captain, I will riot. That's all I'm saying.
I am so annoyed at Ross for being mad at them. It's like, I'm so disappointed. It's like, well, I'm disappointed in you. You're the one that kind of created this whole mess. Like, why did you
think was going to happen? They're children.
Go about getting candidates for a new captain the way you did? Like, that was kind of irresponsible.
You kind of forced them to go at each other's throats. I mean, I don't know what she was expecting out of that whole scenario.
They all want to be captain. Obviously, they all feel like they need to prove themselves in order to get what they want. So, like, what exactly did you think was going to happen?
I don't know. I'm hoping. I'm more glad that we're just going to be over this whole captain thing next week. Because I think in the preview they are choosing a captain, right?
Yeah, that's what she said. Like she said, you know, you're the new captain for 19 or something. So personally, I hope it's Andy. She has waited for the entire length of this show to be captain.
I know. I would want it to be Andy first, and then Sullivan is my second choice, and then Maya is actually my third, and then Theo's down here where he needs to go away.
I don't know. Theo isn't even on my list. I want it to be, gosh, no, not Maya. What am I talking about? Andy. I want it to be Andy. Sullivan, I'll be happy with.
Mm-hmm.
Not Maya. Maya is great when she's not captain. And
Jack.
Goodbye, Theo.
Jack doesn't want to be captain.
Jack doesn't want to be captain, and I love Maya for not.
I like Maya better when she's not captain either.
Yeah, because she even said later, I don't remember who she was saying it to, but she was saying later on, no, I don't want to be captain. I don't need it.
Which was and Karina was she's like, no. I don't think she believed it. No, she wouldn't do that. Yeah, she did. She picked you over captaincy. It was so sweet. It really was. But next week it's obviously going to be our season finale. So it's going to be all full of drama. We have a fire at the event. We have some fancy dinner. We're going to find out who our captain is. It's going to be a really good episode next week. And I'm super excited. Because I think we're going to have like a full 3 hours, right? Station 19 and then 2 hours of Grays. So we're going to have a full 3 hours of Shondaland.
Yeah, so
it's been a great season. I have no complaints, and I am actually excited for next season. So
finally,
for both Station 19 and Grays, I'm really excited for next season to see where they go. Let's jump into Grays. So this week, Grays, it's season 19, episode 18, Ready to Run, and our resident Romeo was on a roll tonight.
He just does not know when to stop.
No, he really annoyed me. Sam, stop it.
I don't know
messing with my people.
I don't know if he's annoying me because just because he actually is annoying, or because I really need Link and Joe together.
That's my thing. I think Sam is pretty. I like him, actually. I really like Sam. But he's got to stop messing with Joe and Link. He's
very pretty. He seems like a very nice man. But for somebody else, why don't you go flirt with someone who's not Joe? Like, leave her alone. Go flirt with a cute, pretty nurse.
Go away.
Anyway, with her Disney princess eyes, I was like, dude, come on. Get out of here.
Link's face.
He looked like he wanted to throw up. I was like,
It was so sad.
I could see like his face like completely changing.
He was like, I could tell he was figuring it out as it was. He's like, wait, Joe?
And poor Mika was standing there like observing this whole thing with him hitting on Joe. And she's like, dude, girls don't like that.
I love Mika, man. The more the weeks go on, the more we learn the more we get to know these interns. I mean, I thought I loved them before, but I feel like I'm falling in love with them more and more every week. So, I mean, good job.
They're doing a really good job at investing us in the characters, because they could have just brought them on and been like, these are the new interns, and just not really
like they've done years past.
But they've really done
magic.
They've really done a deep dive into their lives, like separate from the rest of the characters, to really make us.
Yep, I'm loving it. I it really does feel like we're going back to season 1, which I know that was their plan and goal for this season, was to make it seem like they were starting over with a new, all the magic team now is gone. Right? Meredith's gone now. She was the last one. They're all gone. And it's just kind of starting to take over. And I think we'll start seeing more and more of the people that we know leaving. Like Maggie left. I think Richard will be leaving soon. I really think he'll be leaving soon. Miranda, I don't know. I think she'll stay for a while. Mainly because of Ben.
Yeah. But it has been a really nice balance of, taking us back to old school Greys, but then also, moving everything along as well. So
they've done an amazing job.
Great season. I know we keep saying this every single recording.
We say it because we've had so many bad seasons that we finally got a good season. We're like, yes, this is what we were missing.
This is why Grey's is so hard to rewatch, because there's a long period of really great seasons. And you get to I don't know,
13.
Season 13, you get to season 13, and then it just gets really hard to watch, and you're like, nope, never mind, I'm done, going back.
Yeah, and the problem was 13 through 18. I like a lot of the people. Like a lot of the people that they introduce, like DeLuca, for example. I mean, we get to meet a lot of really good people, but it was the writing and the storylines that just weren't good. I mean, if I'm gonna say the truth, they just weren't good. I mean, we had Alex left. We have Meredith go through COVID dreams. We had DeLuca die. There was just a lot of bad stuff happening.
Oh, I get it's really hard to realize, because I didn't even realize how hard Grey's Anatomy had become to watch. Like how, I don't want to say the seasons were terrible. I mean, although season 17 was. But this this season, how great the season was, I was like, oh, wow, I guess the past few seasons have really just been that not good.
Yep. It didn't deter us, though. I mean, we're still fans we watched them all. We didn't miss a week.
We
were dedicated.
Nearly 2 decades of my life to this show. I cannot stop watching now. No, I have to see it all the way through.
So many people I see on Facebook are like, oh, I stopped after 17. And I'm like, oh, no, keep going, keep watching. I swear it gets better.
Stopped after Alex left. They're like, oh, once Alex left, I just gave up. It's just
I see that a lot too. Like, yeah.
You haven't seen this season. It's so good.
Yeah, or the people that say, yeah, 16 was the last one I saw because Alex left. I'm like, okay, skip 17, but go to 18. It's okay, but 19, gold.
You know what? I can't imagine anyone would miss anything of any importance by pretending season 17 didn't exist.
No.
Nothing happened.
DeLuca died.
Well, we don't need to watch that again.
No, I would rather just
We
pretend
can
that he like
skip
moved.
that and pretend he just moved away on to better opportunities.
He's helping Meredith in Boston.
He went to he went to Switzerland with Christina.
With Christina and Smash. What's his name, Grace?
I forget what his name was on Grey's.
It's Gaius Charles, this
Shane.
actor.
Shane, is that his name?
Shane, was it Shane? I think you're right. What was his last name? They didn't call him Shane.
Gaius Charles.
Yeah. I'm still trying to think of it.
He's a good looking dude.
He is. I didn't like him in Grace.
Oh, I hated him on Grey's, and I didn't like it because I really loved Smash.
I know. I love Gaius Charles. I mean,
Shane Ross.
Ross. Yeah. DeLuca maybe joined Ross and Christina over there in Switzerland, and she's still in Switzerland. We know that now.
Yeah.
I mean, we just got that Teddy and Bailey. No,
Bailey.
Who opened the box? It was Bailey and Addison. Yeah. When they opened that box. So, moving on, we're going to go to Jules, who really needs to learn the rules of being a doctor.
I cannot believe that Bailey let it slide with her being on.
I know.
This case. Like,
she made a good point. Like, I've only known her for this long. She's only my roommate. Okay, but
I do love that that Bailey put an end to and being like, she obviously is a lot more than just a roommate to you. You are off this case, especially at the point where she was about to go into surgery.
Yeah.
Because that would not have ended well.
No.
With Jules, in her surgery, like right there with her. Like that would not have been good.
I mean, we at the end we figure out that she does think of Jules as her daughter. And just so it's like pretty much she wants a DNR, right? That's heartbreaking for anybody that cares about you to listen, hear, understand, and follow through with. I mean,
I'm sorry, but Jules's reaction to her wanting a DNR is not the reaction of somebody who barely knows the patient.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I know Bailey 100% picked up on, hence taking her off of the case.
Oh yeah, she swaps with Blue twice. Blue is in love with Jules. I'm convinced at this point.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
And I can't wait. I cannot wait for that to start happening. We know it's going to happen. They're not going to be hinting at it for it not to happen. So I can't wait for that mess. It's going to be a mess. But Amelia fixes Max. I had to look at her name again. I always forget this woman's name. Amelia fixed Max. And I'm glad. I like Max.
She's a very cute little old lady. I love her so much.
She is. And she starts talking about she has a son and that broke my heart. She doesn't get to see her son. He lives in London. He never communicates with her. And that's because she just never became close to him. So I think her using Jules as a kind of a replacement for her son. She's got to have somebody she can take care of, I think, now. Because that has to be hard to look back when you're older and realize that you did some things wrong as a parent, because it happens. We're not all perfect.
And at some point, yeah, it is a little too late to go back and fix it.
It is. And I think she's just trying to fix it through Jules at this point. Jules does not be anytime Max is back in, Jules can't be her doctor. That's a no-go from now on.
I really hope they're done with that, because it's obvious that she's in no position to be her doctor anymore.
Yeah. And I mean, not only did we have Max come back, we got to see her friends as well.
Yeah.
But also, my favorite thing in this entire episode.
I know it's your favorite.
Helm. I'm so happy about Helm coming back. We all knew it was coming. But
I breathed a huge sigh of relief when she said she was coming back. It only took all season, but that's okay.
That's okay. Like I thought it would happen sooner. I thought it would happen. I thought it would happen sooner. And it kept not happening. And I was like getting very nervous. I'm like, what are we doing then? Stop showing her.
Because we've been saying all season they're showing way too much of her to not bring her back.
Yep.
And I do love how Levi was trying to talk her into it. It's like, you get to wear scrubs, which are basically like pajamas. You get to work in your pajamas. I'm like, that, I'm sold. I'll be a doctor.
After we saw him just have a completely mental breakdown last year from doctor duties and everything that happened, he's like trying to sell her on it. And then when she says they're going to be residents,
yeah, perfect. I love it.
She's so nervous, and he just goes and hugs her. I was like, yes, it's going to be so awesome. I'm more excited now.
They are going to be the best team ever. I'm just so excited for this.
Absolutely. I'm super excited. I think Helm is going to bring so much to the residency program.
And she's going to balance out.
Strong.
Yeah, she's going to really help balance out Levi because, it can be really hard to work under just one person and one personality. You kind of need two personalities to balance it out. And, maybe Levi will be less, uptight, or I don't know if uptight is the right word, but
I don't even want her to be. I want her to be like tough. She reminds me a little bit of Bailey back in the day, of how she says her mind and she kind of gets what she wants, and she
got those 8 weeks paid vacation.
That was unbelievable to me. I'm like, really?
Well, Levi did tell Richard to give her whatever she wants, so.
Levi's face, 8 weeks.
And she walked away, and he's like, 8? He's still hung up on the 8 weeks.
And also Mika. I want Mika and Helm together. And she asked her to the wedding.
I was so sad when she was being mad at Helm. I was like, okay,
I knew it wouldn't last.
Okay. Please don't be mad forever.
You don't be mad at Helm.
But, Mika's Mika, so she wasn't going to be mad at Helm for a terribly long time.
No. And she even said, let me have my mad time.
Let me be mad at you.
Let me be mad at you for a little bit. I need to be mad at you for a little bit. Not going to be forever, but I need to be mad for a little bit. And that's understandable.
Let her be mad.
Not to jump right on it, but other exciting news is we have the Catherine Fox Award coming up, which we all love. And Nick and Winston both are nominated for awards.
I was not a fan of Winston's reaction. He seemed like I feel like it's inflating his ego a lot, because like
driving me crazy.
People were applauding him at one point. He was just like, yeah, thank you. Like, stop it.
I thought I would like Winston more when Maggie left.
I'm liking him less.
Me too. Thank you. Me too. And I don't know why.
So confused, because I
think he's just mad right now. I think he's in a bad mood all the time right now because of
maybe he wasn't in a bad mood this week, though. He was annoying this week.
Yeah. That was disappointing.
He's just excited about his award, but I haven't really been loving him as much as I thought I would.
Nick too, man. I love Nick though. But Nick irritated me this week with the whole award thing. I didn't like his reaction. I didn't understand. Well, I understand where he's coming from, but
he doesn't want to go to Boston.
Yeah, he doesn't want to see Meredith, which Meredith will be on next week, and I'm super excited. I hate saying it. I haven't really missed Meredith in the show, but I'm also like really excited just to like get to see her. I
haven't missed her much either. I don't know if it's because
we have good storylines.
We've had good storylines, and we've been promised, a return for the end of the season. So I don't know if that's why I haven't missed her as much.
And she's still narrating. So I think because we hear her voice every week,
she's still there.
It's like still kind of, I wonder if she'll be narrating next year. Did she say she was just going to do this? I'm going to have to look that up later.
No,
I don't
I
know if
never
she's gonna. I don't think they've said yet or not.
I never know these things. That's always you who shares that information. So if you don't know, I don't know. Um, but yeah, Richard, I love how Richard was pushing both of them to go to Boston. So like they're at, I guess, the nurse's station or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he didn't have to convince Winston too much.
No.
And he literally turns around, he's like, so Nick. And Nick was just not having, he's like, nope, not going.
I don't blame him. I mean, I think he's just heartbroken.
I think he is, but I'm glad that Lucas convinced him.
Yes, I am too. I'm glad he's going.
And that was a really beautiful way of telling him, this is why you need to go. Because,
Mm-hmm.
Lucas, he's amazing, by the way, as we saw this week. He's been knocking it out of the park the last few weeks, but
he broke my heart this week, though, man.
But he's so down himself, he can't see himself as anything but, some loser who just is, complete, like, big underachiever. And I really don't, and I really truly think that he doesn't see how great he is at his job. And I think I think he's comparing himself to his family doesn't really help. Being a shepherd can't not be an easy job. I mean, you've got Amelia, you've got Derek, you've got, whatever his, I don't know much about his mom, but his mom is obviously an important person too.
Yeah. But his mom, aunt, like all Derek's sisters were very strong-headed.
Yeah,
very stubborn.
When you're a shepherd, you can't help but, compare yourself, I guess, to the rest of your family. And when the rest of your family are, really, talented and experts at whatever it is they do, it's really easy to feel like an underachiever.
Lucas, when he has his patient this week, I have never been more shocked. I did not expect this man to die, Eve. I did not expect this man to die.
I did not think that that's...
It was so wrong.
I've loved this season, but whoever's in charge, Krista, Meg, Shonda, I don't know.
That was rude.
One of you, very rude. Don't do that.
Bad.
Lucas worked so hard to get he was a rock star with this patient, by the way.
Know.
Like, holy moly. And they kill him on a CT table. Why would you do that?
And like after you had Lucas like pretty much like convince him and drag him into getting these tests and surgery and everything done.
And he even drew a picture of what it was going to look like, and
so heartbreaking. And then he has to call his mom. Like they made him.
And the patient even made fun of him for his picture, so we had to go through that. I love that. He's like, you're not really a good artist. And it's like, so not the point here, dude.
Oh no.
That
was heartbreaking.
Lucas, sorry, I almost called him Nick. Lucas having to make that phone call to his mom is the exact reason I could never be a doctor. I can call a parent and be like, hey, your kid has been misbehaving today, but no way could I imagine ever calling a parent being like, hey, your kid died on our CT table before we could get him to surgery.
Mm-hmm. That was, I mean, I think Teddy handled it right. She talked to him. I think she handled it. It's not his fault. The guy would have died either way. I mean,
the condition he had, he could have died at any time. And unfortunately,
I mean, he at least had a fighting chance in the hospital, but he didn't win that fight, sadly. But poor Lucas, man, his face when he died, I was like, oh no, how long is it going to take for him to like come back from this? But I think Nick really helped talk him through it. and explain to him this is going to happen. I mean, this is the field we're in. This is going to happen. It's not your fault that this happened.
Can we talk about
Simone's dress? Yeah, it's ugly.
Well, yeah, the ugly dress. We can skip over that part. But and I get it's her mom's dress.
It's ugly.
She's wearing it for her grandma's sake, but that is not a beautiful dress.
I'm sure it was actually gorgeous back in the day.
I'm sure it was beautiful.
Take the sleeves off and it would actually be really pretty.
Yeah, like
those sleeves are just too 80s.
Do some other kind of major alterations to at least like bring it into this
century.
Yeah. At least. But the best part, in my opinion, of this episode was Lucas and Simone at the end. I was like, ah! And the girl is getting married anyway.
We'll see.
We'll see. But her response was, I'm getting married. I'm like, no. When someone tells you something like, Trey doesn't see you, but I see you, and I love every single thing I see, you ditch the other guy and you go for Lucas.
She's gonna say no. There's gonna be a Jackson Avery moment. She's gonna say no. Trey's gonna drop dead. I don't know. Something's gonna happen.
Or I was gonna go with Trey's not gonna show up, but I mean,
oh, okay, or that. Sorry, I have to think how the writers and Grace think. They like to kill people.
But they had I guess we can go ahead and jump into the preview.
Yeah, we're already kind of there. Yeah, anyways,
there. But
it's going to be a big 2-hour event.
It doesn't end like, I don't know, like Meek is showing up at like I guess it's the ER or something, and she's like, oh my god. So yeah. I don't know, maybe something bad does happen to Trey.
Did I just put that in the universe? It's already filmed. It's already happened. Maybe I'm just psychic.
Sad about it? No.
But, I hope he's okay, but I hope she didn't marry him there.
I want him to ride off into the sunset and go be with some other girl.
Yeah. I wish all the best for him. But not with Simone. But not only do we have the wedding, which I think is going to be freaking, I can't wait for, because I always love a good Grey's wedding, because there's always drama.
So something crazy always happens at Grey's weddings.
Every freaking Grey's wedding, there has been a drama and an issue. So I can't wait for this one. But we also have the dinner, the Catherine Fox award dinner, that we get to see Meredith, and there's going to be some Nick, and there's going to be a Maggie and a Winston. Kind of, not Maggie. Was Maggie going to be there? I didn't see her.
Yeah, they showed Maggie. Her hair was different, but they showed her.
Oh, okay. I know which part you're talking about. I just watched the preview right before this. I was like, wait. Yeah. So we get to see all our old friends that are just left the show this season. That's going to be I haven't missed Maggie, but whatever. But I am excited to see Meredith.
Maybe Winston can move to Boston, because I'm not crazy about him right now either.
Yeah, he can bye. Maybe they'll get back together and he'll move bed there with her, and then we don't have to deal with Winston next season.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I'm really excited for this is Link and Joe better hook up on the season finale. If they don't, I will riot.
I know, that better be a sign that, they're headed towards some conversation / argument that's going to end up with them being together.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking, and I'm sticking to it. And if that's not what happens, then I think we need to drive to wherever the heck it is that they have their offices and complain.
I agree. All right. I think that's all, though. I mean, we're going to have next week's is looking awesome. I can't wait for it. All right. So I think that's it for Grace and Station 19. We've actually talked for a while today and given you all of our opinions. So don't forget to check out all of our socials and Facebook group, Grey's Anatomy, Grey Family Fan Club. Tune in next week for more episodes and our final episode for the season of Grey's. Sundays are our Fox night, where we talk about 911 and 911 Lone Star. And Tuesday is our NBC night, where we discuss all 3 Chicago shows. And Wednesday nights are, of course, our ABC nights, where we talk about Station 19 and Grey's, like tonight. All of those shows are going to be ending coming up to the summer. We're going to be ending. I think during the summer, we're going to be doing some Netflix shows and some other some other fun things. We're not going to stop the podcast. We're just going to be venturing off into other things until the fall when all of our shows start back up. So do not forget to subscribe, and we will see you all soon. Bye.
Bye.
Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.